What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about the AtariBox, and why personally I don't think that this thing is even going to launch. That seems a bit dramatic, but let me explain why. Well, when this thing was first being hinted at a couple months ago, we only had some clues as to what it would be. A new console being made by Atari, but what would it play? How powerful would it be, and how much would it cost? These were all just things we had to guess at, until now. The creator of the AtariBox has finally done his first in-depth interview when, well, now we know that this thing is a little bit of a dumpster fire, starting with the fact that it's not very strong. It's going to be using a mid-range AMD processor, which basically means that it'll be able to run like indie games decently, but basically nothing AAA. You're definitely not going to be playing Evil Within on it or any sort of open world game. This thing will never play anything like an Assassin's Creed. It seems like it's aiming itself towards being a little extra box for you to have next to your actual consoles. Now, the other thing that kind of has me worried is they're not even really trying to sell it like it's going to be that kind of console. They said that they're trying to draw attention by packaging in their original classic games, which makes me think that this isn't going to have any of the later Atari projects. It's going to have stuff like this. The super old, crappy things you find for $1 at flea markets. This is not exactly how you get a crowdfunding going. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention the fact that this thing is going to be entirely crowdfunded? The development, I don't think, has even begun. The reason I say that is because they're doing this on Indiegogo instead of Kickstarter. The primary distinction between these two websites is that on Kickstarter, you have to have a working prototype. Now, that's why stuff like a Resident Evil card game can be on there and actually make tons and tons of money. But if you're trying to get a student fan film or something going, you have to go to Indiegogo. You don't have a working prototype, and so therefore you have to go over here. That spells out pretty clearly that nothing is actually running on this yet. There are no games that are actually working on this, which is a little bit mind-blowing because they said that they want this to be out in early 2018, spring of 2018. No way are they planning on crowdfunding an entire console and launching it within 6 months. That is not going to happen. I don't care how simple it's going to be. You know, I've actually researched the development of the original Xbox. This thing was made completely with off-the-shelf hardware. They got the best graphics card, the best hard drive, and the best stuff they could get for cheap, put them together, and sold it like a console. This is arguably one of the most baseline, simple consoles ever built. And even that took years to finish developing. There is no way that they're going to make this in that short of a time. But wait, there is one last giant hurdle that I think most people aren't going to get over. The AtariBox, when it's finally released in spring 2018, not going to happen, is going to be a minimum of $250. $250 for a console that is going to be basically playing old Atari games and nothing else. It will have some other functionality like possibly streaming or being like able to play movies, but who cares about that? $250, you can get a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, or even be really close to getting a Nintendo Switch. Honestly, if we're just trying to be getting a retro console, I'd rather buy one of those plug-and-plays. I'd rather get an NES Classic Edition over this, because at least that, I know what games I'm getting. I know I'm going to be getting RPGs and beat-em-ups and really good stuff instead of freaking kaboom. This is not worth $250. Even getting past all that, let's really kind of go into the guts of this machine. This is supposedly going to be running on Linux, something that really tech-focused people like, because Linux can basically be made to run anything. If you program something smart enough, it can access the internet, run StarCraft, really anything you want Linux to do, it can do it. There were some people back in the day who were even hacking some PlayStation 3s to run Linux, and they were doing some absolutely insane stuff with it. But as intriguing as that is, it's not going to actually be playing more games. This is going to be an interesting gadget for hackers, but the general consumer isn't going to get this, which means you're not going to get people excited, which means that your freaking Indiegogo is going to flop. There is no way that this thing is going to get funding, and if it does get funding, I guarantee you every penny of that is end up going to get lost. They're going to spend all of it on development. I don't think that they're trying to embezzle this. I don't think it's that they're purposely making a scam. I think that they have these incredibly high aspirations that are no way going to be met. At its core, the reason I think that the Atari box is just such a freaking travesty is the fact that it doesn't provide anything new. It's weaker, it's more expensive, and it's not really original. It's just a gadget for people to tinker with, but not really willing to advance anything. It's like if I randomly came out with a new thing that was supposed to be a giant advancement over, I don't know, those SpongeBob SquarePants minigames you could buy off of the store shelves at Walmart. True, that's a completely original game, but it sucks. Why not get a Game Boy? Why not get a freaking Sega Saturn? Why not get anything that plays games that are advanced and interesting and different? The Atari box seems to exist simply to try and grab people's nostalgia, to try and get people who like the name Atari to put money towards this experiment. An experiment that, in my opinion, is going to fail horribly. I don't really know anybody who's going to be dumb enough to actually try and support this. The people who know technology are going to avoid it. The hackers are going to think it's cool, but they have other things to tinker with. And the gamers are going to just be confused by the project in general. It doesn't do anything properly. And because of it, I think that this is going to be one giant crapshoot. But what do you think about it? As a general gamer, whether you be hardcore or casual, do you think that anybody's really going to fund this? If you were going to get one absolutely for free, would you want to play some classic games on it, or tell me an indie game you hope will function with this? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this rant, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I'm really sorry about my facial hair, by the way. My roommate forgot to pay the water bill, so I couldn't shave. Oh, hey! I was just playing a little bit of Grand Theft Auto on my Darth Vader PSP. Are you curious what I'm going to come out with next? Well, if you click this button, you'll be subscribed to be the first to know. Also, if you click over here and here, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. I promise, it was super good. Or it was really bad, and I'm sure you can just make fun of me in the comments. Either way, it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching.